quasi Neema wird heute Abend eben einführend etwas über Vedanta sagen und in diesem Sinne, wie Karma-Yoga auf dem spirituellen Weg eben dient. Welchem Ziel das dient, wozu es nicht dient. Weil wir haben ja alle schon mal das Wort Karma-Yoga gehört und haben viele Ideen darüber. Und Neema wird das heute hier erläutern. Sie ist also unsere Lehrerin sonntags und meine Lehrerin seit jetzt schon ein paar Jahren. Und wir haben auch geheiratet und sie waren unsere Trauzeugen. Also es sind sehr Freunde und Lehrer für uns. Und wir sind ganz glücklich, dass sie jetzt hierher gekommen sind, nach Deutschland. Und jetzt die nächsten 4 Tage mit uns hier einen Retreat haben werden, worüber in diesem Retreat werden wir eine Upanishade behandeln, also eine alte indische Schrift. Was hast du
noch
gezeigt?
was zu Surya?
Surya? Ja, Surya. Er sitzt hier und nimmt das Ganze auf und er ist Professor in Mumbai an einer Universität und unterrichtet dort auch Vedanta und hat viele Studenten, auch ein Lehrer, der sozusagen an einer öffentlichen Institution das unterrichtet. Und ja, Neema hat auch Kurse in Mumbai, wo viele Leute regelmäßig zu ihr kommen. Wir machen jetzt hier eine kurze, intensive Geschichte. Sie hat aber auch Schüler, die sie eben regelmäßig unterrichtet. Also es gibt alles vom intensiven Retreat über den 3-Jahreskurs, über regelmäßigen Unterricht. Und ich bin sehr dankbar, dass sie hier ist. Ja, viel Freude und Erkenntnisse.
You know what Namaste means? Namahate. Namahate means that the vision of Vedanta, if you ask me what exactly is Vedanta, in one sentence, which is very difficult, right? I would say that in one sentence, if you want to know what Vedanta says, it says that all that is here is one. And that one, when it manifests as the whole universe, with all its laws and all its amazing creation of planets and mountains and all these stars and galaxies and all, that which makes it possible is what we call Ishvara. Ishvara means the cause of the universe. And you think that you are this one little individual in this grand scheme of things. Vedanta says, not really. You are one with that Ishvara. So the vision of Vedanta is Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. Okay? And the whole life is meant for discovery of this reality. So this is what Vedanta says, and this greeting that I just told you recognizes this fact. When you meet somebody, you say, Namaha Te, I recognize the divinity that is in you, which is also in me, and we are all part of this one reality. So every greeting acknowledges that reality. Imagine a life where every day when you meet somebody, you remind yourself that you are divine, and you also remind yourself that every other form is also divine, and you relate to the world like that. Imagine what your life would be like. Right? So this is Vedanta. It's not an ordinary subject matter. So today my job is to tell you what Vedanta is and also what is Karma Yoga. Because Karma Yoga is one term which many people know, and if I ask you, what do you think, what is Karma Yoga? I'm sure as many people as there are that many answers. And it has got nothing to do with what you think or what I think, because it comes from Bhagavad Gita. So the whole intention is to understand what Gita says, right? So that would be my attempt here, to make you understand what Gita is talking about. So the next slide. Okay. So the overall presentation that I'm going to do today is divided in 3 parts. Okay, and all these are part of somehow Karma Yoga. One is, what is vision of Vedanta? The second is, within that vision of Vedanta of oneness, what exactly is Karma Yoga? Okay, and what are the different aspects of that Karma Yoga, and how is it related to this vision of divinity? If all that is here is one reality which is manifesting in many different names and forms, what today I was just talking to Gabrielle and she was saying that this is this amazing vision, and I'm constantly struggling as to how to live with this vision. Okay, so Karma Yoga is all about how to live with this global vision of all that is here is one. So I will try to talk about these 3 aspects. The next slide. Now, as I told you, this has got what Karma Yoga means has got nothing to do with what I think or what you think. It has to do with what Gita says. So there are 4 verses in the Gita which are talking about what Karma Yoga is. So today we will see the meaning of all these 4 verses. So we know that what I am saying is not just from my own head, it is in the text. Okay? So the first verse, which is talking about Karma Yoga, it says, Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo avyavasayina. Okay? So here, if you want to read what it says in English, then I will explain what it means.
This reference to Is Moksha, Arjuna, the descendant of Kurus. There is a single, well-ascertained understanding. The notions of those who lack discrimination are many branched and innumerable indeed.
Okay. What does it mean? Okay. It means something very simple. The vision of Vedanta is not that you do something and you will become one with divine. It says you are that. Are is a present tense. Sanskrit is a very precise language, right? So when it says you are that, then what? The whole orientation that we have towards doing something, right? Doing something, and we are so busy, and new strategies and new experiences, and we are something, everything, the very fact that you are seeking for something else to happen, what does it mean? You are denying that it is there now. As long as that orientation remains, that I have to do something, then it will happen, right? You are creating, you start with a notion that right now I'm limited. And if I do something, I will merge with this big reality. If I follow somebody, if I do something, if I have some experience, right? So that means right now you're not what you want to be, and something else will happen which will make you what you're seeking to be. Okay? Now this whole orientation, Upanishads and Vedanta is asking you to examine. It says very simple thing. What is it that you're looking for in life? Let's examine our experiences, and let's just go back to some very basic fundamental questions and ask ourselves, what am I looking for in this life? What do you think we are looking for in this life?
Happiness.
Happiness. Perfect. Happiness. Great. Okay. Anything else that we are looking for?
Peace. Peace.
Peace. Lovely. Happiness. Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom. Great. Okay. Freedom from what? From
the ego, self.
Excellent. Okay, now that ego, we don't, you're right. But freedom is a very nice, it's very easy to understand, and because we don't, if I ask you what exactly is ego, then again hundreds of people will have 100 different answers, right? What ego is. So let's stay with what we are looking for in a simple language where we commonly understand what we are looking for, right? So if you say freedom from, to keep it easy, freedom from what? Sadness, inadequacy, lack, right? This is what we are actually searching for. Okay? Now, what have we done so far to get that happiness, to experience that peace, and to have that freedom that we are searching for? What have we done? You are all very evolved people, so I'm sure you will yeah. So we've all done a lot of things, right? So what have we done to get all these beautiful things that we are all seeking? And not only people in this room, in fact, the whole humanity is seeking that. So what have we done so far to get that we think is so important in our life? What have you done for happiness, Ruth? Come on.
Well, I'm not telling everything.
She's not telling everything, but...
Like, for example, meditation.
Oh, wow. She's telling all the good things.
I'm not telling anymore.
So meditation is what she's doing to be happy. Good, good. That's great. And then peace. Then what have you done for peace? Let's understand. Let's see. It's interesting to see what people have done.
Try to find quiet places or to be in the nature.
Great. Excellent. So try to go to a conducive environment which makes your to be quiet, leisurely. What about freedom? Freedom is a big thing.
To let go of bondage.
Excellent. Very nice. Let go of bondage. And what binds you?
Relationship.
Excellent. You really hit the thing on the... It's true. Relationships bind you. And what do you do to have freedom? Get away from those relationships, or to have more relationships? Or more? Interesting, right? What is interesting is, what Vedanta is saying is, we all every human being knows that we want happiness, we want freedom, we want peace. This is something that everybody universally understands. And this is why you call it the fundamental human pursuit. Okay? And we all have different, even if she wants peace and she wants peace, what they are doing could be very different. She could be going to a quiet place in the Himalayas or in Alps or some south of France or wherever, and she could be doing for peace something totally different, going to Africa and helping others, right? In midst of all the people she could be, and she is still looking for the same thing, peace. So what is interesting is Upanishads analyze what human being is looking for. It says actually we are all looking for the same thing, and we are finding different ways of getting there. Now the problem is, all these different ways of getting there, do they really get us there? Partially. Excellent. Right? If they totally did not get us there, we are rational human beings. Right? We would not pursue it if they were not giving us some results. Okay? But the fact is, as Anne says, that they don't give us total result that we are searching for. It partially satisfies us. It partially satisfies us, and therefore, what do? We want more of that, right? We think that right now I don't have all the peace, and now I need to look for next destination to get the peace that I'm searching for, right? Or I need to meditate more tomorrow, half an hour is not enough, right? So constantly what we do is we are trying to increase the activity, the length and the breadth of our experiences. Okay. What Upanishads say is, by this process, do you think you will get absolutely what you're looking for? You will get partially, yes, but absolutely will you get? That search will go on and on and on. Upanishads say that look at certain assumption that you have behind all these pursuits. That you're searching for happiness means you have concluded right now I'm not happy. That you're searching for peace means right now I'm not peaceful. That you're searching for freedom means you have concluded right now I'm not free. Vedanta asks you this question, that if this is the reality about you, I'm not happy, I am not peaceful, I am not free now, if that is really your nature, can you change it? Can you? No. Whatever is your intrinsic nature, you cannot change. For example, if sugar is sweet, you can't change the sweetness of sugar. If the salt is salty, you cannot change the saltiness of salt. So if your nature was really that you're unhappy, that you are not free, that you are not peaceful, if that was your nature, no matter what you do, what? Will you be able to get the absolute happiness? Partial, yes. Absolute freedom? No, it's impossible. Mandukya Upanishad says, na asti akrutena krutena. If you are that limited, inadequate person who is lacking, no matter what you do, you cannot get rid of your intrinsic nature. That means you're stuck with all these things, and everything that you are doing in search is fruitless. It's never going to give you, neither it has given the complete freedom to anybody in the past, nor in the present, nor in the future. Then, what is the solution? What is this Nishchayatmika Buddhi? What is a well-asserted examining life and its experiences and recognizing the fact that if my nature is limited, no matter what I do, I cannot be totally free from limitation. The only possible solution is that I am already free. That is what Upanishads say. Vedanta says that you are free right now. And the teacher's job is to make you see that reality about yourself. And it is totally different. What do you have to do to be what you already are? What do you have to do? Nothing. And that's good news, really. Vedanta is very simple. All this orientation that we had, that are very serious about, tomorrow I have to do this, and then my life goal is this, and this, and this. It says, hey, you really don't have to do anything, but you still have to have what will enable you to enjoy that freedom. Why right now you're feeling that you're not free? Because of what? Not knowing that reality about you. So therefore, the whole pursuit becomes not of doing something, but of knowing. Knowing this fact about yourself. Because as long as your assumption is, I am limited, no matter what you do, go anywhere, try billions of things, you'll never be able to get rid of this. The only solution is to know your true nature. Therefore, it becomes pursuit of knowledge. Give an example. Okay? A simple example. Very simple example, but it's a very telling example. Okay? There was this lion who was growing up with goats. Right? From the young age, somehow the lion was separated from its own family and it started growing up with goats. What happened? He started behaving like the goats. Right? And had all the disposition because everybody around was like that. Started believing in, oneself as goat. Now one day there is a lion who's, looking for a prey, and it comes. And it looks at its own, another lion. Right? And when the lion sees another lion, what does it do? Because it thinks that I'm a goat. What does it do? He's frightened. He's frightened and he's running away, trying to be, Then what happens is the lion tells the goat that, hey, you're not the goat, you are the lion. Then it says, oh no, but I want to experience that I'm a lion. Right now, my experience is that I'm a goat. I want to do something. I want to go deep in meditation. And then when something happens, then I will feel like I'm a lion, and then I will be. Or I have to exercise, or I have to do something, and I have to put my, develop my muscles, and only then I can be lion. Is it true? What is the problem? The problem is that of ignorance. If the problem is that of ignorance, what is the solution? Knowledge, logic. Simple. Okay? A lion, to be a lion, need not do anything. It just has to remove its notion that I'm a goat. But the conditioning that this lion has is so strong that when the other lion tells, it cannot believe it. And is always searching for some kind of an experience to validate this. It requires a lot of wisdom to come to a teaching, and a lot of grace to come to a teaching which makes you see your true nature as already full. Otherwise, you continue to be a searcher. There's no end to this searching. Okay? Moksha, here this is what we call Vyavasayatmika Buddhihi. Vyavasayatmika Buddhihi means Nishchayatmika Buddhihi. If I am limited, there is no solution. No matter what I do, nothing is going to remove the limitation, the lack and the inadequacy if it is my true nature. But if I am already free, I need not do anything. I just need to know my true nature. This is what we call Nishchayatmika Buddhi. This particular understanding puts all your spiritual pursuits in perspective. Otherwise, in the name of spirituality, how many activities are going on? I have lived in the US for many years, and in 80s, there are all these magazines, spirituality magazines, and they're this thick. And each one has a very nicely presented promises. Each page, each one claims, you're right now no good, but you come to me and I'll have your, rise your kundalini and you will be fine. I will do this, all these promises. Infinite promises. It becomes a spiritual marketplace. Just like you have advertisement, where each one is advertising his or her product as superior to the other.
Full business.
It's business, exactly. Spirituality also becomes a business. Each one has some technique, some promise, and tries to attract you over the other. Upanishads are safe. They say, you are already that, and my job, the teacher's job, is to make you see that reality. Different. Very different. Okay? So this, once you know that if my true nature is already free and I need not do anything, but I need to know my nature, then that your pursuit for freedom, in Sanskrit it is called moksha, okay, becomes a more what? Channeled search for that freedom. It is knowing my true nature. And there you change from being mumukshu, the one who is searching for the freedom, to a jignasu. Jignasu is gnatum ichu, the person who wants to know one's true nature. Once you know that I need to know my true nature, what is the use of action? What do I do? I don't need to do anything, right? Just as the lion doesn't have to do anything to become the lion, it just needs to understand why should I do anything now? From today onwards, I only want to study and I only want to know my true nature, and life of doing things and pursuing things becomes meaningless. So what is karma yoga then? Karma yoga becomes useless? No, Exactly, it doesn't, right? So therefore, if knowledge is what I'm seeking ultimately, what is the job of actions? I need to understand that, right? So therefore, what Upanishads say is, even if that is the reality about you, right, that you are the whole, that you are limitless, but the person who is feeling, I'm inadequate, I'm unhappy, I'm not peaceful, how will that person with such deep, entrenched ideas will be able to enjoy that freedom? It's not possible. For any knowledge, you need to have preparation. If you want to understand some extremely complicated mathematical formulas, you can't just be not knowing any mathematics, right? You need to understand some mathematics to be able to understand something advanced. For understanding your own reality, what is the preparation? A mind needs to be refined enough to be able to capture all the nuances which makes you see your true nature. If I'm constantly feeling I'm no good, I feel I'm persecuted, if I feel sad, if I'm depressed, how is my mind, which is captured with those feelings, is able to understand and enjoy my limitlessness? It's impossible. So that means you need to have a mind which is subtle, sattvic, to be able to comprehend this reality, to assimilate it and to live it. For example, okay, there is a sun which is shining bright. There are 3 pots. One pot has water which is all muddy, right, and not at all clear. The other one is relatively more clear but all wavy, and the third one is crystal clear. Now the sun, its reflection in the 3 pots, would it be the same? No. The sun is always the same. We are not trying to change the sun, right? But the place where the sun is reflected, if it is not clear, it will not be able to have the clear image of the sun. So if you want to see the sun clearly, what is your job? Not to go and dust the sun, but to make the water clear. This is what you need to prepare in your mind, so that this reality is what? Shining for you, without any confusion, without any ambiguity, without any what? Vagueness, without any confusion. Okay? Now, what is important is that in your day-to-day living, small events make you angry. Small events make you sad. You have all these burdens of feelings. Okay? That mind, which is not able to cope with simple things, simple transactional things in life, that mind is like a what? Water with mud. So you need to clean it. How to clean it? This is where Karma Yoga comes in. it says, knowledge is something which is, to know your true nature is the ultimate pursuit, but the actions that you perform, okay, if you change the attitude, okay, it will make your mind ready for this knowledge. So Karma Yoga is, the second aspect is, even though actions will not get me moksha that I am searching for, actions will help me to prepare my mind to understand that reality about myself. Once that is clear, the whole spiritual pursuit becomes what? Well directed. Until then, we are just like birds going from here to there, one thing to the other, trying all these different things, and it's endless. Knowledge of reality is ultimately going to give me moksha, and karma will prepare me for that moksha. Now, the next slide. How does karma prepare me for moksha? I need to ask. Every action that I have done has led me to some, what? Soup or the other. So now, the very actions that I have performed, which has brought me dissatisfaction, how do I use actions to grow and to prepare myself for this knowledge? So, now this is what we've done, the place of Karma Yoga. Now, can you answer this question, what is moksha? Now you tell me. What is moksha? Freedom. Yeah. What are the two dimensions? So how does one get that freedom? What have we seen so far according to Vedanta?
To realize that I'm free.
Excellent. To know the fact that I'm already free. So that is one dimension of the pursuit. What is the second dimension of the pursuit?
No action will make me free.
Yeah, first that to understand that no action will make me free and knowledge is going to make me free. The second is what? That I need to use my karma to gain the maturity. These are the two aspects. In Sanskrit, one which you know the reality is called Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya means knowledge, Vidya of Brahman. Brahman is my nature which is limitless. The other one is Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra is all the preparation that is necessary for me to gain that knowledge. Okay? So Karma Yoga is what? It comes in the Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra is what? Preparation to gain this knowledge about my true nature. Okay? Now, next slide. Okay. Now, this is the second verse of the Gita, which says, now, how to use karma, the actions, for gaining the maturity. Okay? Now, this verse, if some of you have studied Gita, it's probably one of the most famous verses of the Gita. Okay? It says, Karmani eva adhikarahate ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahetur bhuhu mate sangotsva karmani. Beautiful. Okay? Unfortunately, there are, every book you open and you read the meaning, each one will give different meaning. And this is why knowing Sanskrit is important. Because Sanskrit is a very precise language. It's almost like German, right? When you say things precisely. Sanskrit is like that. Okay? It says people have come up with thousands of things, but if you know Sanskrit, it's very easy. It says, Karmani eva adhikarahati. You have eligibility towards action. You have a choice. You have a choice over action. Ma phaleshu kadachana. But you don't have a choice towards the result of the action. Ma karma phala hetur bhuhu. Don't take yourself to be the author of result of the action. Okay? Mate sangot svakarmani. But if you are not the result of the author of the result of the action, don't also take to inaction. Big thing. Big thing. Right? Now, it is a statement of fact. Okay? A lot of our confusion in life comes from not knowing what I can control and what I cannot control. In my classes, I ask many students, I do many classes and I ask, how many, in terms of percentage, you have all lived life, had many experiences, many events, done many things, how many things in your life went your way, in terms of percentage? And everybody's reaction is, What percentage of things went your way and what percentage of things didn't go your way? 50-50. Wow. This is the highest I have heard. 50% of the things went my way and 50% of the things didn't go my way. This is the highest I've heard. And I've heard as low as 5%. Oh. Now, even if, let's say, she comes in the real high category, even if she has got 50% of the things her way, 50% still didn't go her way. And every time things don't go my way, what do I tell myself?
I'm useless.
I'm useless.
My mistake.
My
mistake.
My mistake. That is self-blame. That is called self-blame.
And the others.
Excellent. And the others. This one and that one and society as general and all these people and this time and we are constantly complaining.
Good.
The weather. Then the weather, right? So that means that imagine the burden that I'm carrying within myself, because when 50% of the things did not go my way and I'm telling myself I'm useless, and I'm telling myself others are mean and I'm feeling like a victim, and I think world at large is no good, what is the quality of my own life?
Can I ask a question? Why do people perceive it differently? How many percent? Because I feel that it's like 80%.
Wow.
I don't know why is it so
That is
different?
lovely. It's very, exactly. The fact is that, you know, many things don't happen. Simple things like weather, for example. Or I wish when I came, I wish it was sunny weather, right? And now it is raining and it's cold and it's, you know, simple things like that.
Yes.
You know? And if you really are taking into account simple things and also big things, many things don't go our way. 80% is like you are very content.
But when I don't feel bad about this...
Then exactly. So this is exactly what it is saying. But we can't help thinking bad about it. Right? So how to change that? That is what Karma Yoga is all about. Right? So what you're saying that even if, what she is asking is right, even if things don't go my way, how can I have a perspective which will enable me to deal with whatever comes and goes, right, with a certain composure. When I learn to deal with certain things with a composure, then what happens? I'm free. Even if things, I reduce my dependence on situations to what? Make me feel good. Right? So that is what Karma Yoga is all about. To first understand that I don't control result. Because so much of my life goes in controlling the result. And I don't even necessarily know that I don't control it. So that means I try harder and I try harder and I try harder. The whole of corporate world is like that. I read an article in Times of India. Okay, it talks about in India now you have many more private hospitals. Okay, so the private hospitals, what is their objective? Profit making, right? that is basically what the private hospitals are. Now they put pressure on doctors to convert the outpatients into inpatients. Right? So that means that you come and see a doctor, the doctor's performance is, and doctor's remuneration is measured by results, which is how many patients that come to see him or her are put in the hospitalized.
This is not Indian speciality. You have to agree.
Exactly. But I didn't want to blame. I just wanted to talk about my country so nobody sees, oh, she's coming to France and she's criticizing French or Germans. But you're right, exactly. So what I'm saying is, right, the result orientation, the obsession with the result is not an ordinary thing. Now, the doctors who are under pressure, what will they do? Sometimes, even if you're not really, it's not necessary to hospitalize you, what will they do? They'll put you in the hospital. Oh, this checkup and that checkup and this test and that test and oh, we don't know yet and this and that, you know.
They will never know, but
Exactly. So therefore, the obsession with result, how important, what Gita is saying is something which is so relevant. Don't think that it is just talking about actions and result. It is, if you understand that overemphasis with the result and trying to control the result and not understanding the way the universe works, we actually, through our actions, create so much mess. Then we blame things. We have created systems which are not wise. We have created systems which don't take into account how the world operates. Okay? If we want to have a better world and more peace, we have to change very fundamentally. And we have to align our systems with natural laws. Okay? So therefore, karmani eva adhikarahate. Big thing. I have a choice over action, but I don't have a choice over result. If I understand that reality, where would be my emphasis?
On the action.
Excellent. On the action. Because that's where I have a choice. What is our attitude? We are all result oriented, where we don't actually have much of a choice. And therefore comes all these frustrations. So therefore, then I need to concentrate more on my action rather than what? Worry about result. If I have to concentrate on my action, what is the criteria that I use to choose my actions? Next slide. There is next verse of the Gita which is saying, Tasmat yogaya yujasva yogaha karmasu kaushala. Okay? If I have a choice over actions, then what? I have to be prudent in choice of my action. I have to choose. That's where my prerogative is. I have freedom in how I choose, what decisions I make. Okay? So therefore, what is generally, we all have done so many actions, right? Up from our birth to now, how many actions we've done? How many actions we've done? Countless. Okay? What is the, how you have chosen those actions? If I ask you, how did you choose those actions? Based on what did you choose those actions? What would you reply? Needs, desires. Right? What else?
Love, strong energy, what feels good for the heart.
Okay, very good. Can you say it a little loudly so that people...
Love and what feels good for the heart, and where is the highest energy.
Okay, so now her choice of action is not just her needs and her desires, but what? Love, what is good for others. That's a very, very evolved. That shows the evolution of the person. How do you choose your actions? And this is exactly what Gita is talking about. It's giving us a framework of how to choose our actions. So, what is that framework? Because that's where we have a choice. So we have to use it prudently. The next slide. Okay. So, the Dharma, what it says is, what you are saying is absolutely right. Okay? When you choose an action, what is the most common thing that you want to satisfy? You want to satisfy your desires, you want to satisfy your needs. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay? You can do it. It's not bad. It's not materialism. Vedanta does not divide the world in two categories, material and spiritual. It says all that is here is one. The division that we create is it's really something which is creating such a dichotomy. We create a division where there is no division. Okay? It says you can go ahead and satisfy all your needs, all your desires, but provided you do not transgress universal ethical values. Right? It is like you have a car, right? And a car is what? You have a wheel and you have an accelerator. Now imagine there is a car that you have and without a brake. What will happen? Everybody will drive and then what? There will be billions of accidents, right? So that means every time you have a car, you also necessarily have to have what? A brake. Your free will is like a will. You can have desires, you can have needs, you can do what you want. But what is the brake? till you harm somebody else. If you don't harm anybody else, go ahead, there is nothing wrong. But the minute you start harming somebody else, what? You have to stop your desires. Stop your desires does not mean that you don't have to have desires. Please understand that. It only means that you need to manage your desires prudently. The message is not simplistic. The message is not you should have no desires. The message is learn to manage your desires prudently so that you don't step on somebody else's what? Shoes. That is wise living. When I asked what exactly is a problem, and somebody, I don't know who told me, relationships. We are generally ethical people, we don't cheat, we don't harm others, but when it comes to relationships, show me one person who has not hurt the other person. What happens? Sometimes when we love the person whom we love the most, we end up hurting the most. Why? What happens? You think we don't know that the person is hurt? We don't know that the person is feeling sad, the person is feeling violated, and we still do it. Why? Because we are not able to manage what? We are not able to put a break. The desires take over. And when those desires take over, and even though intuitively I understand that when I go along with this desire, I may hurt somebody else, but I'm indifferent to that. I ignore it. I give some reason to myself or the other to justify my behavior. But what it says here is, the more you do, more you go against Dharma, what? The laws are such that you have to pay for it. It is like a tree. Laws of Dharma are very, very important. Somebody was asking me one question. In the Western literature, there is a lot of discussion on Dharma, ethics. Greek literature, French literature, German literature, they talk a lot about Dharma, ethics. Very well analyzed subject. They were asking me, what is the difference between when we talk about Dharma and when the Western society talks about Dharma? What is the difference? Is there any difference? I found one answer. And the answer is, all the Western literature on Dharma is mostly talking from the standpoint of my responsibilities. What are my responsibilities in this world? And the more evolved you are, the more ethical you can be. Beautiful. Okay? But the vision of Vedanta is slightly different. I don't mean to say one is superior or the other. I'm just showing you the difference. Okay? The difference is that for us, Dharma is like a law. Law of physics. Right? You can't say, I don't care about law of gravity. If you say you don't care about law of gravity, I'll say, okay, now go out. And you go out. Because you don't care about gravity. And the minute you reach outside this window, what will happen? You don't care. You will fall because that law will operate. It doesn't need your permission. Okay? Law of Dharma, according to Vedanta, it is like cause and effect. When you do something and you transgress, when you hurt somebody, it is what? The laws of cause and effect will work in a way that you cannot but get away from it. When, how, where, nobody knows. So therefore, it is following Dharma is what? Part of intelligent living, because if you are indifferent to Dharma, Dharma is going to equally apply to everyone. You can't afford to be indifferent to Dharma. You can have millions of justification for doing what you are doing, but at the same time, the laws you cannot fool. Laws will apply. So what is intelligent living? To recognize how the laws work and align your life with those laws. When you do that, what are you? You are navigating your life intelligently. Understanding how the universe works and what? Aligning your actions with it. So this is what the universal Dharma is. It is like our teacher used to say, Dharma is like tree. Tree, you go and you rub against it. Then who will get rubbed? Who will get rubbed? You will get rubbed. It's not possible to avoid it. Because then you can ask the tree, but you are so mean. Why did you hurt me? What will the tree say? The tree will say, as my teacher was saying, I didn't come and run after you to bruise you. You used your free will and to rub against me, and what happened? You got rubbed in the process. Following Dharma is like that. You are given the capacity to know what is right, what is wrong, what will hurt others, what will violate their trust, and you still do it, and you create more and more entanglements in your life. It is unavoidable. It is not possible because there are laws. Okay? So this is what basically the universal values. So when you have a choice, you can go ahead with all your desires and needs, but follow universal ethics. Because if you don't, who pays? You have to pay. Right? Now, there is a second sense that Vedanta talks about, which is a concept of what we call Swadharma. Swadharma, where is, this is a Samanya Dharma, the universal, Swadharma. You are related, you are not alone in this world. Okay? Simple example, Upanishads use simple examples. Okay? This water that I am drinking today, now, how many people have worked to make it happen? How many?
Thousands.
Huh?
Hundreds, thousands.
Hundreds and thousands. Can you name a few?
The person who did the glass, the person who brings the material, the person who drives the car, who makes the street, who...
And. So there are lots of people who are involved, and if you go little bit further, all the forces are involved. How is it that the potable water gets to the river? How is it that the ocean water is evaporated? It forms into a cloud. The clouds become rain. Who has done all this? You are living in this world which is extremely well designed. And you are interconnected with this universe. You are interdependent. And you depend upon thousands of people whom you don't even know. If you live in this interdependent world, then when you perform a karma, you're not alone. You also have responsibilities. Because when you receive so much from the world, you can't just say, okay, I want more of this, and I want more of this, and I want more of this, and more, and more, and more. And it says shift. When you use your free will, your faculty of choice, recognize your interdependence with so many forces and become what? Play your role also. You have duties towards different things because you find yourself in a system where you receive from many and it becomes your duty to give. That is what we call Swadharma. Okay? Swadharma, if I see myself as connected to the society, to whom am I connected? Okay? There it says you're connected to many. You're connected to your parents. They gave a lot to you when you were young, when you were not able to even walk. When you came in this world, what did you come with?
Naked.
Huh? Naked. Not knowing how to survive even for a day. If the food was not given to you, if you were not fed, right? So that means you have received, even though we all carry some kind of a resentment towards our parents, it's true, all of us do, okay? But we get so caught in that resentment and we don't see the total picture, how much we have received also, okay? When we have received so much, it is also our responsibility to give. It's important. This is what human life is all about. Otherwise, we create societies which are lonely, which are depressed. How many people in this world suffer from feeling of not being loved? How many? And then what? We keep on searching for relationships to what? Fulfill that feeling of what? Being loved. And every time we create what? It doesn't come, it's not that people are bad or anything, it just comes from needs. Okay? So therefore, the whole different way of living your life. You make the choices not only based on your needs and desires, you take into consideration what? Samanya Dharma, the universal values, and Swadharma, your responsibilities. Your responsibilities towards your parents, towards your spouse, towards your community, towards your nation, towards the world. Right? Now, many times people ask me, oh, this sounds wonderful, but what should I do as a service to the humanity? What can I do today, now? Show me. Sounds wonderful as an idea, but what do I do? What do you think you can do? towards humanity. Sounds wonderful. Wow.
What we do also, what we do now with the right perspective, with the right looking and.
Excellent. Excellent. You are doing a huge service to humanity if you change your perspective. Because if you don't have proper perspective, the number of people who are adversely affected are too many. So therefore, if you change your perspective and you live what? Responsibly, you're automatically doing service to humanity. Simple things, right? When we got married, Surya used to always tell me one thing. When I used to brush my teeth, I used to keep the tap open. So he says, how much water are you wasting? Simple things, right? Otherwise, it always seems, this environment problem is because of this government and because of these multinationals and because of this. We are always blaming somebody else and we are not looking at our own little responsibilities. Our teacher used to give us a very nice example. Okay? The example was, in a village, there was a drought. And in that drought, there was a situation where many people were starving and there was nobody, there was not one person who had enough access to distribute to everyone. So that means it seemed like the problem can never be solved. Then one wise person comes and he says, not one person has to provide food for everyone, because not nobody has that much access. We can do one thing. Everybody, before eating, when they cook rice, put one little feast of rice. And each one started doing it, and soon there was what? Heap of rice which fed everyone in the village. Simple, small things. Because you're connected. You're not alone. If you look at your responsibility and change your perspective and do what needs to be done, you're doing a service to humanity because we are connected. That is what we call Swadharma. The minute you have that perspective to your life, that I have a free will, and with that free will I can do many things, you're empowered. You feel good about yourself. When you're in harmony with the universe, you feel very good about yourself. You don't need to go and search and do this and do that, and just align. Align yourself. Okay? So this is what we call the concept of Swadharma. You're related and you have responsibilities. Then the third thing. Okay? Now, the third thing which is very important is, if you follow Karma Yoga and you use your faculty of choice following Swadharma, Swadharma is your duties and responsibilities, and Samanya Dharma, the universal ethical values, okay, you slowly change. It's a very fundamental change in your psyche. You change from your sense of separation, me, poor me, I'm a victim, I'm no good, I need to do this experience and I need to do that and I need to do this for my fulfillment. The whole center is you, and you feel that the whole gratification is for you. It's just such an obsession with what makes me feel good. From that isolation to sense of connection. That connection is not something which is an advice, it is reality. Shifting. You are connected with the universe. The sun, all the forces in the universe, human beings, they are all working constantly to make your existence possible. The more you bring that reality into your awareness, when you perform actions, you will see that connection with everything. From isolation to connection is a huge shift in your psyche. The second is from dissatisfaction. 50% of the things didn't go my way, and I'm bitter, and I'm depressed, and I'm complaining, and I'm no good. From that to what? How many things are working? From dissatisfaction to gratitude. Gratitude is not what we call positive thinking. It is understanding the reality. It is based on facts. So many things are working day and night to make my existence possible. We were in France recently, and there was one lady who we met in south of France, and she told me that it's interesting in France, people are so privileged, they have a beautiful country, right? It's a beautiful country, which is true, okay? Education is taken care of, healthcare is taken care of, everything is provided, and people are still so dissatisfied. People are constantly complaining. I don't know why there is this whole big. So this is where that dissatisfaction has got nothing to do with what you have and what you don't have. It's a mindset. And that mindset you have to change. And Karma Yoga helps you to change that mindset. Okay? From dissatisfaction to gratitude. Begin to see. Be thankful. I live in Bombay near the beach, and sometimes I see, it's amazing, people walking on the beach early morning, and when the sun rises, many, not all, many of them stop and they do this to the sun. They take time to thank the sun for its contribution to their life. That's mindset. The sun is not waiting for their recognition. It is you who are changing. From dissatisfaction to gratitude, you have to change. And that change is based on seeing how the universe works. Dissatisfaction to gratitude, and from consumer, more and more and more, to be what? Changing from there to be a contributor. Sometimes when people come to Vedanta, many times they, quite often, not always, but quite often they have had some major personal life-changing experience, in the sense that they underwent some death or something which disturbed them so much from their normal living, then they are searching for answers and they come to Vedanta. Then they think that this Vedanta of Brahman and this and that will totally heal them of all their, these kind of impact of those events that they have had. Then they tell, oh no, but Vedanta does not heal me, I still feel very sad. When you have gone through some major losses in life or whatever. So this is where we say there, you don't try to bypass your emotional life. The only way is what? Karma Yoga. Change, continue to act with a different attitude. Become a contributor. Many of them, I said that wound that is there will only be healed if you help others. will not go otherwise. Vedanta of limitlessness and all will not heal that wound. Okay? Begin to make a difference in somebody's life. I have seen when people have done that, they are shining. In spite of difficult times, when they begin to help others, there is a joy that comes, there is a deep satisfaction that comes. This is all part of Karma Yoga. Continuing to act with a different attitude altogether, which is the growth which is required to understand and to assimilate the vision. You can't bypass that. Okay? So from converting from consumer to contribution. Next. Okay. Now in all the good intentions that you have, you need to understand one thing. That for every good thing that you want to do, you need to understand your sphere of influence. I want to change the world. We were just talking before that we all had when we were young, we were both in development. So I used to work with the United Nations and she works with the ministry. So we always wanted to do good to the people, we wanted to change the world, and then soon you realize what? There is very little you can change. Right? But very little you can change does not mean you don't do anything. You still have to do. And that is what intelligent living is all about. Understand your sphere of influence and do what needs to be done. In this sphere of influence, there is something that I want to show, that sometimes you can stretch your sphere of influence. You can begin to do things which seem impossible, but once you start doing, what? The universe helps you to accomplish things which seem impossible. For example, if I ask you that a little boy, can that little boy lift a big tree and put it aside when the tree is blocking the traffic? No. I will show you, yes, the video.
No, I will put the video.
Yeah.
1 second.
The video I want you to see, because it's a very how much time do you have, by the way?
It's a very short video.
It's a 2 minutes video. It's not long.
2-minute video.
Yeah.
सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है सर आइए सर चल चल क्या बात करता
कुछ करो ना।
मैं वहां जाके क्या उखाड़ लूंगा?
कैसी जाने बूंद आई, जाने कैसा दर्द लाई, सामने क्या है ये तेरे, क्यों रुका है तू बता दे। तुझको पार लेगा कौन होगा वो मसीहा, जिसे तू ढूंढता है, तू ही है तू वही रास्ता है, तुझ में तेरा है सहारा, तू ही तुझको पार लेगा। तुझ में तेरा रास्ता है, तुझ में तेरा है सहारा, तू ही तुझको पार लेगा, तू ही है मेरा किनारा। तू ही है मेरा मसीहा हो।
Even if you stretch your sphere of influence, when you have a good intention, you're not alone in this world. Things will happen. And you find satisfaction which is infinitely more than what? Fulfilling one more little need of yours. Okay? This is what we call Karma Yoga. Understanding what you can choose, which is actions. Using that faculty of choice wisely to align your actions with universal values. Understanding your responsibilities towards so many different people in this world, performing your duties and going a little bit beyond to become a contributor. This is the potential that you have to use your faculty of choice, of action, to grow as an individual. And without this growth, that knowledge that you are Brahman is not available. For you to comprehend, for you to assimilate, for you to live in your life. So, now, the final aspect of Karma Yoga is, now, I understand that I do all these wonderful things. I follow Dharma, I take care of my responsibilities, I become a contributor, and there are still people who are still complaining. They are saying, but nobody recognizes me. Right? I do and I do and I do, but nobody appreciates me. Okay? So therefore, this is where you need to understand Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. This is the final definition of Karma Yoga. What exactly means Samatvam Yoga Uchyate? It means that the results are not in your hand. That is what we have seen so far. Okay? Now the next question is, if results are not in my hand, what determines the result of action? Are the results totally random? If they were random, you would have no way to understand, even to figure out, if I want to achieve this, I should do this. Because things are random. This is where this famous, what we understand, law of karma walks in. Law of karma does not mean fatalistic. It does not mean things are predetermined. It means that the laws of cause and effect are at work. When you perform an action, okay, and then that is a cause and it will produce a result. And the result is taken care of by the laws. They are not taken care of by you, but taken care of by the laws. Okay? Once you understand that the things are taken care of by the laws, what is your attitude when things don't go your way? Before Before, what did you do? You blamed yourself and you blamed the world. Now if you understand that there is this law operating in this universe and it governs not only my life but life of everyone else, what would be your attitude when things don't happen your way? Huh? Aha. Aha. The laws did not work. There is something that I need to understand a little bit more and I need to do something. Right? Lovely. Life is fun. Right? You don't take the burden. If you don't take the burden, but there are infinite opportunities for you to what? Navigate in intelligent way to get what you want. And even if you don't get everything that you want, what? The very fact that you have used your free will intelligently itself will give you a lot of satisfaction. Right? So this is what the final aspect of samatva means, having a certain equilibrium with reference to result of action. That equilibrium is not an advice. It is again based on understanding how the world works. So the next slide. The next slide, it shows the dynamic of actions and result. Okay? These are the, you have certain desires. Life is nothing but what? Desires, actions and results. Three things. So you have some desires and you perform actions. And for those actions, you have some results in mind. This is perfect. Nothing wrong with this. Okay? Now, what happens is, you think that you control the results. What Vedanta says is that yes, you can have some influence over the result through the known variables. What are the known variables?
Day to the bank.
Okay, exactly. You go to the bank with one result in mind. What is the result in mind?
So it's open.
That you get some money.
Get some money.
Okay. Now, what I'm saying is, okay, any action you have results in mind. Okay? You want to succeed in life and you want to make, let's say, a lot of money. That's fine, no problem. Okay? Now there are known variables that you have in your hand to get what you are looking for. What are those known variables? Your time, you spend time, your effort. All these are known. You can do all that, right? Use your faculty of choice to find out, to get this result, what all should I do? These are the known variables. Time, effort, resources, this is what you have to do. You can't just say everything is according to the laws. This is what you do. Okay? But you also recognize that there are some unknown variables at work. And those unknown variables are what? The causes of so many things past that you don't know. For example, if I ask you today, who you are today is only a function of what you did today. It's a function of what you did today, plus yesterday, plus day before yesterday, plus day before yesterday, series. And you may not know exactly all the things that you did in the past which made you who you are today. But the laws are taking care. Okay? So these unknown variables are taken care of by the laws. Laws of cause and effect, which are running from billions of years, over which you may not have control. Maybe, right? So what is intelligent living? You can't say because laws are taking, I don't care about the result, I don't want to make effort. This is not what Gita is talking about. It says, yes, when you perform an action, You do have an expectation of result, right? But those results, in order to get that result, use your free will and make all these efforts, but when things don't come your way, understand that there are unknown variables. When there are unknown variables, then if you're intelligent, you'll try to find out, can I make some of these unknown variables known to me so that I can make better decisions? And what is totally unknown to me, what is one action I have in my hand to take care of the unknown variables? This is your test. Yeah, Anne knows because she has attended my classes.
Maybe praying.
Excellent. Excellent. But she has also attended my classes. There is only one thing that you have. Think about it. Against the unknown variables. Because they are unknown to you, you have no access. You can't do anything about them. But you have only one tool, and that is the tool of prayer. Prayer. How does prayer work? Simple. I don't want to get into a long discussion, but I just will give you an idea of when we say prayer, how it works. Vedanta talks about how it works. Okay. Prayer is, our teacher used to say, is a highest expression of a free will of a human being. You don't need to pray, but you pray. Nobody needs to pray. But the very fact that you pray, it means that you understand something more than what others understand. What? What is it that you understand? And that is that prayer is an action. When you perform an action, you necessarily, what? Using the cause and effect relationship, you will get the result. Okay? How does prayer work? If you understand little bit of economics, no, I will use a chemistry example. Forget economics. Okay? There is H2O. What is H2O?
Water.
Water. Right? Now, if I add one more variable, one more oxygen atom, it will become what? H2O2. What is the result? What is H2O2?
Wasserstoffperoxid.
Hydrogen peroxide. That means by adding one more variable, what have I done? I have changed the configuration. Without that oxygen additional atom, it was water. By adding that one more variable, what happened? That one more variable acted in conjunction with the three variables and produced a different result. That means every time you do an act of prayer, you are changing the configuration of all these and you are adding one more variable in your favor to get what you are looking for. Without that variable, the configuration would have been different. Whether you still get what you want or not, but the prayer will change the configuration. It is game of probability. You are improving your chances of getting it by using your free will to do an act of prayer. You are understanding how the laws operate and you are helping yourself. That helplessness that you have with reference to unknown variable, you are using your free will to ask the universe, and ask for help. When you need help and you ask for help, it is intelligent living. Okay, so these are all the different things that I can do to grow as an individual. That karma which was bringing me all the problems, all the frustrations, all the sense of failure, my sense of being a victim, the same karma can make me a person who is highly evolved as an individual. I use my free will to help myself and grow as an individual. This is what we call Karma Yoga. Okay, so these are all the different aspects. The last slide. Now, you will have to make the whole logic. We talked about 4 verses in the Gita which talk about Karma Yoga. Now you have to tell me, what is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi? Nishchayatmika Buddhi. What am I looking for in life? And what can get me what I'm looking for in life? What did we see? What did we say? If the freedom is what I'm seeking, if I'm not already free, then there is no solution. The only solution is, I'm already free, then I need to know my nature. But in order to know my nature, I need to prepare myself. And the same karma which has gotten me into all kinds of frustrations, I can use to grow as an individual. This is what we call Nishchayatmika Buddhi. Clarity in thought. Otherwise, we are just roaming around. Okay. The second is to know what I can change and what I cannot change. Karmani eva adhikarahate. If I have to use karma for my growth, I need to first know what is within my capacity and what is not within my capacity. Action I can choose, the result I cannot choose. Third, okay, if I can choose actions, what should be the criteria for choice of action? Yes, I can fulfill my needs, I can fulfill my desires, but I cannot ignore Samanya Dharma, universal ethical values, Swadharma, my responsibilities and duties, and Loka Sangraha, rising above that and doing something meaningful. And with reference to result, when things don't happen my way, understand that there are laws. Laws of cause and effect, which are bringing the results. And the only thing that very understanding of the presence of laws will give me some equilibrium. But I can go one step further and use the power of prayer to somehow use that capacity to make the situations more favorable to me. This is intelligent living. The karma gives you, imagine you have used your karma and you've done all this. Time is not far that you will understand the real nature of yourself. And as Surya reminded, he told me to tell you that this is only one way to grow. This is only one framework that Gita talks about for growing into a person who can understand the vision. There are other frameworks. There is the talk about meditation. Why meditation? What does it do? How does it help me to understand my own nature? Then there is a model of Raga Dvesha. Raga Dvesha, how do I manage all those inner pressures that I have within me which make me do things which I don't want to do and, not do things that I should do. That is what we call Raga Dvesha. Then there is a model of Sattva Rajas Tamas. How to become a sattvic person. These are all the different frameworks that Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta gives me a capacity to understand how do I grow to be a person who can live this vision of oneness. Thank you. Yes.
There are different kind of prayers. Which kind of prayer would you recommend?
Excellent. There are many different types of prayers. There are some are very, if you talk in the Vedic context, there are very structured Vedic prayers. So you have all these Vedic chants, you have all these fire rituals, and they are all very specialized. So in fact, before every prayer, you have a sankalpa. Sankalpa means that you tell for what you are making that prayer. So there is a prayer, which is a beautiful prayer. I don't know, some of you may have heard it, is Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra is one prayer where you are asking for clarity of thinking. Because life is nothing but series of decisions. And every decision that you make has repercussions not only for you, but for many others, because we live in an interconnected world. Either you contribute to the well-being of yourself and the world, or you contribute to the confusion. So then to have clarity where you can do things which are needed to be done, it's not always very evident. So you pray for clarity. That is one prayer. But you can pray for anything. You can pray for health. You can pray for well-being of others. There are beautiful prayers in Vedic tradition where they pray for well-being of the whole humanity. Then there is a prayer which says Asato ma sadgamaya, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, Mrityor ma amritam gamaya. It says that take me from this superficial understanding to the right understanding of what is. From the darkness to the light, and from mortality to immortality. Beautiful prayers. Then you can pray for anything. And these are structured prayers, but you can also pray in your own language, in your own words, in your own form. You have infinite possibilities. That's your free will. You have choice. And you can use that choice. Yes.
If you have a vision, then you do some actions. And my experience is it is not now.
Yes.
I think sometimes it needs time, maybe
Yes.
20 years. Or
Yes.
It's
Excellent.
another kind of time.
Absolutely. Right? Any cause and effect. You're absolutely right. That today if I do, and that helps me, because generally our orientation is if I do something I want to result now, and if it doesn't come I'm frustrated. But if I understand that there are laws of cause and effect which will produce some kind of a result, maybe even many years later, no action goes wasted. That's a very nice perspective to have. No action which is done with proper intention and for the well-being of yourself or the others is wasted. That's a nice thing to understand. That gives you a certain certain enthusiasm, certain dynamism. Okay? And it actually nourishes you. Because you know this very fact that you are in this huge universe, you can also feel very insignificant and very small. But how you can change that by doing something meaningful and understanding that that will contribute in some way or the other makes you feel very good. So that's a very, very true, very true. That's a nice perspective to have. Anything else? Everybody's tired and sleepy. Okay, so if you have no questions, then I would like to end with a prayer. Prayer for well-being of the whole humanity. You know Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayanta? Surya. It's a Vedic prayer. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Kshobarahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhaved Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti